Hi, Wonder Class, and welcome to week 4, lesson 1 of the Romans. So, what are we going to be learning about today? The learning objective for today's lesson is: can I understand why the Romans invaded Britain? So, to understand why the Romans decided to invade Britain, and by looking at the 5 main reasons why the Romans invaded Britain. So, let's have a look. So, Britain had lots of goods which the Romans wanted. So, they had things such as lead, wood, tin, wool, slaves, gold, silver, and corn. But what do they actually mean? So, corn. As the Roman Empire grew bigger, there were more and more people to feed. The Romans started living in towns, leaving fewer people in the country to grow crops. Rome needed to import more food, and Britain was a very fertile land. So, the food was being imported from Britain. So, raw materials, wool. Britain had a good supply of sheep, and wool was needed for making Roman togas. So the togas were the type of dresses and gowns that Roman people would wear, and they were made out of sheep's fur, sheepskin, and that is why one of the things made them invade Britain was because of the raw materials that Britain had. Another thing which the Britain had and the Romans needed was the use of leather. So the Roman army used lots of leather in uniforms and in soldiers' tents. Leather was also used to make buckets. Now, unfortunately, we're not at school, so you are not able to actually have a feel of really what the Romans' clothing were like. But you probably have seen pictures of this to know, to at least know what it looks like. Another reason, number 2, was for valuable metals. So an example of one of those metals is silver. The Romans made their money out of silver. More coins were needed as the Roman Empire had began to grow. Britain already had silver mines, and that was what the Romans knew about. Silver was a luxury item for rich Romans. There was a big demand for it. Gold. Gold was used for jewelry and was in great demand by the Romans. Now, in your lesson, I think it was on last week on Friday, you might have learned about the different types of jewelry on the website, the artifacts of the Romans, the different types of jewelry that the Romans wore. So this would have been something that would have been highlighted to you that the Romans did use a lot of. So they used a lot of gold in their jewelry, and therefore they needed to get this. So there was a scarcity of gold across the empire, but Britain had some. So that means there was very little amounts of gold in the Roman Empire, but Britain had lots of gold, and that's why another reason why the Romans invaded Britain. Tin. Britain also had tin mines, and tin and pewter were used for cups and plates. Tin could be mixed with other metals to make strong, hard metals. The Romans used a lot of lead, so lead was really useful for the Romans, and Britain had a good supply of it. Lead was used to make water pipes and plumbing systems. Lead was also used to make coffins. Power. The Romans didn't want goods from Britain only. They also wanted to invade to show how powerful they were. By conquering more and more countries and making their empire bigger, it made Rome much more powerful. So the Romans also believed that it was their duty to do this to make the world civilized like them. So the Romans' belief was, remember, you are a Roman. It will be your job to rule over the other countries so that the world becomes peaceful and everyone obeys the Roman law. So the aim of the Roman Empire was to take over for everybody to be under the law, the Roman law that they made. Ambition. Invading other countries and adding to the empire was a way to become more powerful and popular. The first invasion took place because Julius Caesar was ambitious and wanted power and glory. Claudius had just become emperor in the 1st century BC and wanted to prove himself as a good leader of Rome when his invasion took place. Revenge. The Britons had been helping the Gauls, which were the French, to fight against the Romans. The Romans wanted to punish the Britons for this and make sure they could no longer do this. So this is going to be your activity for today's lesson. Your first task is to maybe go back, rewatch the video. You might want to do a little bit of research online as well to find your own information of why did the Romans invade Britain. So underneath, I've got a spider diagram for you to see, and I've got some subheadings: valuable metals, power, ambition, revenge, and other raw materials. All of the information is on the video. I want you to see if you can source the information to write down ideas underneath each of the things for why the Romans invaded Britain. So for example, underneath other raw materials, you might go back and have a look at the other raw materials such as leather and wool that the Romans wanted from the Britons and why they needed it. So, for example, they needed it for their leather belts, the leather for the belts, and they needed the sheep fur or skin for their togas, which is an item of clothing that the Romans used to wear. So, make sure you really expand on your answers, do some bullet points and write some information down. You might even want to draw some little pictures just to help your presentation look better and for you to remember why the Romans had invaded Britain. So that's all for today's lesson. Enjoy your activity and I will see you in the next lesson. Bye everyone.